It comes with both front and rear dirt guards here, and then also comes with the upgraded guard here. And we're back. And in this video, we're going to be working on the Kraton 4S V2. We're going to be converting it over to a v2.5. So we're going to be adding a center diff, a new upgraded chassis, and a few other things. Mostly this video is about the conversion and the parts you would need to change it over to a center diff with the brand new chassis that they've come out with. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I have been collecting parts, but the one final part that I was waiting for came in a couple weeks ago, so now I have everything I think to get this done. Hopefully I have the correct bearings. So we're going to try to make it quick. It's just a brief video to show what you need to do to convert it over. It's pretty easy. The most complicated part is going to be swapping the chassis. That's where most of the screws and stuff are going to come in. I'm not going to get into swapping out the chassis too much. We're going to do a time lapse on that part, and then we'll go through detail on just swapping out the motor and stuff, which is going to be pretty easy. But this is my V2 4S. It's been a great truck. It's been through a lot. I contemplated getting a v2.5, just selling this one, but this has been such a great truck, and it's cheaper to get the parts. So let's go over the parts that I had to get in order to do the conversion. So you need the center diff power module plastic set. So this is the piece that this is the piece that holds the center diff and the motor mount and everything. This is this piece up here. This one was the one I've been waiting for the longest. Aluminum motor plate. Uses the stock motor and everything. Should work no problem. If you're interested in going to something more upgraded that allows you to use even a bigger motor, M2C Racing now makes a v2.5 aluminum motor plate, so you can use that instead. We have the center diff. It's all metal, so we got steel and then cast aluminum case. Actually looks quite nice. Feels really nice and stiff. It's already filled with fluid, so we're just going to leave it that way. We've got the dirt guard set. Now this is a pretty important piece because this has the guards that go on the arms, but not only that, it has the little guards, I'll show you later in the video, that cover the drive shafts and keep rocks from getting in there and flipping off the spring retainers. So that's what these little things are here. That one is something that a lot of people missed on the Mojave, so that's from the Mojave, and it should fit on here. And then we had to get the upgraded chassis. So this is the extra long wheelbase V2. So that means V2 of the V2. Does that make sense? So this chassis is the version 2 for the V2. This is not, will not fit the version 1 or anything like that, which I don't think anybody out there is trying to upgrade that one. So yeah, this is so this is the upgraded chassis. It has thicker cross bracing up here in the front and in the back where it breaks. It also has a little bit different webbing on the inside to beef it up, and this keeps the chassis from cracking. I have snapped the front end of this chassis off before, but it was on a pretty crazy jump. Didn't surprise me that it broke, but a lot of people were cracking the chassis here. This chassis might even have a crack in it now. So this is the biggest piece that you need. So to get these parts that we have here, not including bearings, hopefully I have the correct bearings here somewhere, is about $140 for all these pieces to do the conversion. And that's actually cheaper than buying a new truck, because I'm not going to get as much out of this by selling it because it's been well used. So it'd still be more to get a new truck. So we're going to go this route, and it gives us a nice video to do. So the first thing we're going to do is strip the electronics out, and we're going to swap the chassis out. I'm not going to go through the chassis swap in detail, because basically you're just unbolting the stock parts off, axles, everything, and bolting them right back onto the chassis. That's pretty straightforward, and it is going to be kind of lengthy. Not too bad on this, not compared to some others because of the plastic tub design, but it is going to be a little bit of work because I've had to change the chassis on these on a couple different ones, but this one once and outcast twice, and so it does take a little bit of time. All right, let's get into the time lapse of the chassis swap. Alright guys, we got the rear end tore off. I needed more room, so I had to move the camera a little bit. First thing we're installing is the dirt guard set. Now, the dirt guard set consists of the guards that go on the arms to protect the shock shafts, drive shafts from, but the most important part of this piece is these dirt guards here. Now these guards, you can see I already got one installed. They go around the drive shaft. They protect this ring here from getting hit by rocks and getting knocked off. You lose your pin, your drive shaft falls off. So these are a pretty worthy upgrade, even if you weren't doing the full conversion. These will bolt right on, it looks like. They are marked fronts and rears. So I got the rears here, of course, on the rear end. We're installing those first. Nice thing about them, they're going to help hold the drive shafts in place while we do the rest of this. You will need longer screw, though, in order to make this work. I'm probably going with a little bit too long a screw, but it's what I have. But you will need to use longer screws to hold them on. What you got to do is remove the upper rear link screw. This is keyed. See this part that's keyed here? Okay, you see the little hexagon thing? The way you know the direction is this is also that shape, and it goes right into that groove. And then you just reinstall the screw. My screw might be 10 miles too long. Oh, I think that'll work. We'll just have to make sure it don't rub on something. But that's how you install the dirt guards. The front ones are slightly different, but pretty much the same basic idea. Okay, let's continue to the rest. Alright, we basically got the chassis almost put back together. We just got to put the electronics in it and a few little things here or there. But I just wanted to show you one thing we're doing in the process is I had to fix the drive shaft because I had a rock get in there, pop the spring off, and the pin fell out. Pretty common with the version 1, V2, with the V2 Kraton 4S, and V2 Outcast. This is a common problem. This is one of the originals, so if you have an original, you can see how shallow this is. When I was replacing this, one thing I discovered, which they don't really talk about very much when they come up with upgraded parts, is that on the V2 they address this. And you can see how big the groove is on the new version. Some of the old ones were still out there because I believe this one has been replaced before and it was still the shallow version. The new version has a deeper groove, which will help from keeping the rocks get stuck in there. So if you're having that problem, keep that in mind. Probably one of the best upgrades for durability issues is going to be this dirt guard set that we have. If you can see them there, the dirt guard wraps around the drive shaft and it hugs really close to the new version. Not quite as close to this older one, but still will help keep rocks from getting underneath. It comes with both front and rear dirt guards here, and then also comes with the upgraded guard here. This keeps the rocks from flipping from the back and getting wedged into the arm. Probably helps quite a bit. I'm excited to have this because this will solve a lot of problems. I'm always getting rocks stuck in there. You can see how bad the drive shaft gets beat up from getting rocks in there. This should help that quite a bit. Hopefully rocks don't get in there and stay in there, but the purpose of that was to So for the upgrade, $7.99, ARA 311209. If you're doing anything at all, that's an easy, simple upgrade. And one other thing that we did is when I was in here, is I wanted to upgrade the servo. Been going to do this one for a while too. But this is a servo I just recently come across. It's an Eco Power. They're an A-Main exclusive. You can only get them through A-Main or your local hobby shop that carries Eco Power products that buys from A-Main Distributing. This is the WP250T. Extremely high torque, quite a quick servo, but at 6 volts it's 574 ounces, 7.4 it's at 681 ounces. If you bump up the BEC, this should be way more than enough for this truck, and with the upgraded hot racing heavy duty servo saver, we shouldn't have any more steering issues. Alright, we've pretty much got everything kind of put back together. Before I put the center brace back down, I'm going to mount in the module. It just makes it easier to slide in. So, we already went over the parts, but we'll just do it again. 3111169 is the center diff plastic part set. You have to have this. I did forget bearings, so I had to pick up some bearings. So now we're at $150 on cost. And there's the bearings for it, 15 by 21 by 4 millimeter. Motor mount plate, 311192. Like I said, M2C makes an upgraded one that will bolt right in, but it's made to hold a little bit bigger motors, and so you can get some bigger teeth in there. One of the things I didn't get is the new plastic side guard set, which I believe they come up a lot higher. This is the original one. I just cleaned it up, but probably will pick up the bigger one so that it sits a little higher. But if I put up one of the fabric covers on there, I might not need to do that. So anyway, let's get into this. Comes with all brand new hardware. It's dust cover holes. Need to open up the bearings here. Aluminum cover. Aluminum. You can tell this is not very great aluminum, but you can tell this is not really the greatest aluminum, but better than plastic. So this sits right in there with the lettering on the outside. And then to hold this in place, there's one little screw that goes in there. Nice little cinch with all that coming off. And then cedar bearing on that side. The other bearing goes on this side. Get these little rubber covers. So that little tiny nub on there, you'll have to fit it into the hole right there. And the easiest way to do that is to just take the end of your 1.5 or a small flathead tip screwdriver and just there we go. Go in just like that. Those fit nice and snug. Okay, so now those are just sitting in there. Just rotate them out of the way. They'll rotate. get the motor started. One thing I'd like to point out, if you guys can see it, I got a lot of wear on this pinion and it needs to be replaced. And I am going to replace it, but just for the sakes of finishing up this part of the video, we're going to go ahead and get all this bolted together. And I will pick up another pinion gear, a 13, or maybe a 14. I don't want to go any higher. This thing kind of still runs really good. It's plenty fast with the gearing it came with. And Spectrum's electronics, they don't like to get too hot. So I'll say this 1,000 times. Number one most important thing to... So I will say, one of the most important things you can do to an RC car is figure out the magic trick of perfect gear mesh. And with metal gearing, that's pretty much it. You want to rotate it around. Make sure you still have that slack. Okay, was just checking them. I just checked the manual, make sure there was no shims or anything needed. For this, it says not. There's a little bit of play back and forth in there. Okay, we got that gear mesh right the first time. So we'll just... Oh, actually, we need to cinch the motor down. Just final cinch down. Get the rubber plugs seated in there. And ready to slide this in. Now normally this is one of the most unfun things to do because it's trying to get this to line up and slot in. Sometimes it'll go right in. Sometimes it won't. It took a second to get it lined up, but it snapped in place. So in the package comes some shorter screws. Those screws go into here, into the extra slot. That slides in there. And There we go. New power module's in. Alright guys, it is finished. I will change that pinion gear at a later time. I don't know if I'm going to get to it before I run it next, but we will show some running footage of this. There's lots of running footage out there, but just kind of give you my impressions of how I like the center diff. It's going to make it handle different. It's going to give it some, give it a little bit more steering. I think I'm really going to like the center diff. That's why I went this route. And we're going to get a dust cover on this. I ordered a brand new v2.5 body, which is, it's the same body, but the one I got, they have them in red or green. The one I got was the green one, so I got a new body coming for it. So it's just kind of nice and refreshed. I mean, it's not completely clean. I might clean it up a little bit more, but where I run this is really, really dusty, and has a lot of really coarse rocks and stuff, so it just beats them up pretty bad. So there's no sense in cleaning it because it's just going to get dusty the first time I take it out. I've been looking forward to doing this for a long time. The one thing I was waiting for on was the plastic diff case. Arrma and Horizon have those in stock now, so I believe you can get all the parts. Some may be in stock, some may be out of stock. I know at one point the diffs were in stock, and then they were out of stock. Now they're back in, I think, so you'll just have to look at it. 150 bucks. You take an old truck, upgrade it, so it's beefier, got the more durability built into it, and hopefully some better handling with the center diff, and now it's tunable instead of just the slipper clutch. The slipper clutch didn't give me any problems really, but I do like a center diff in my buggy truggies. It gives you a few options for tuning, helps with some steering, etc. So anyway guys, I hope you liked this video. Hope it helped some of you out. If you had any questions on whether you could upgrade one, or if you buy a used one, can you make it a 2.5? These are great trucks, and with a few little upgrades, now it's the newest version, so I'm happy about that. So please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.